Welcome to Native Bidaské, Native News Online's weekly spotlight on the people making news and leading change in Indian country.
An amazing finish by Billy Mills.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills in the United States, number 722, is leading Ron Clark. And in third place right now is Mahout Gamudi of Tunis. A tremendous upset if Bill Mills can hang on. But Gamudi goes out ahead as Gamudi right now leading in the 10,000 meter. Ron Clark is third. Rather, Bill Mills is in third. Ron Clark is in second right now. This is the final lap for the 10,000 meter. The unheralded Mahout Gamudi of Tunis is putting on a tremendous sprint. He's out ahead of Ron Clark. Bill Mills, the United States, is in third place. This will certainly be the fastest 10,000 meter ever run by an American.
Here's Mills, who seems to be boxed in. Suddenly there's an opening, and here he comes.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gamudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gamudi.
Look at Mills! Look at Mills!
Coming on. Mills is coming on. It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here. Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters. Bill Mills of the United States, a tremendous.
Welcome to another episode of Native Bidaské. That was a great Billy Mills. And last week here at Native News Online, we posted a story, This Day in History, and it was October 14th, 1964, that we highlighted. And that was the day that the great Billy Mills won the gold for the 10K run in Tokyo. With us today, very special guest. I call him the treasure of Indian country. Billy Mills, how are you, sir? You're my good friend.
Listen, it's always great to be have the opportunity to spend some time with you and reliving that Olympic moment. It's very, very, very sacred to me. That there was two races going on. I came close to suicide, and I remember my dad telling me, he died when I was 12, but he told me it takes a dream to heal broken wings. And son, your wings are broken. My mother just died. So I came so close to suicide my junior year in college. I didn't want to kill myself. I just wanted to go where it was quiet. And I just heard underneath my skin, movement, shaking, an unspoken word, don't. And it sounded like my dad's voice. For whatever reason, I got off the chair, crying, got a pencil and a paper from the drawer in the hotel room, and I wrote down a dream to heal a broken soul. And I wrote down gold medal, 10,000 meter run, that the Creator has given me the ability, that the rest is up to me. Believe, believe, believe. And that race was subconsciously, the number one objective was to heal myself. And I know exactly where that healing occurred.
Well, Billy, that's incredible. And I just, every time I see that video, I actually get goosebumps because we know how it's going to end because we've seen it. I've seen it dozens and dozens of times, but we know how it's going to end. But it is still a remarkable video. And I like to report to you that over 650,000 people have seen it in the last week. We posted it on the Facebook at Native News Online. And so congratulations. After all these years, you're still very relevant. So welcome to our show. And you know, Billy, one thing that I really appreciate about you is sometimes athletes have their accomplishments and they kind of fade away, but you have in fact remained very relevant to Indian country and with your Running Strong organization, what you've done, you've been able to raise millions of dollars over the course of many years to help Native youth. So why don't you speak to us about that and why that was important for you?
The Running Strong for American Indian Youth, in reality, was my giveaway. And I remember the first time I witnessed a giveaway. We're at a powwow, 11, 12 years old. I was 12 years old. My dad had just died and was walking around the powwow grounds. And this lady was receiving gifts in a blanket. And she stopped and said, "You boys come here." She said, "You're Sydney's son, aren't you?" "My dad." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "He was a good man. He helped me." And she said, I want to feed you lunch." Pointed out where her tent was in a teepee and said, "I'll be there in about an hour. Come have lunch." So we're having lunch and she's just talking. And and I took that with me that moment, just talking about my dad, talking about the things he did and the things she did, and she was being honored for it. And Oliver Redcloud, 2 years before the Olympic Games, said, "If you make the Olympic team, you must have your giveaway. You must give back." And that was such a powerful connection with my dad. Then Oliver also said, "Take our most powerful prayer with you. We are all related. You'll be competing against new relatives." And he leaned in and he said, "It's okay to beat them." You're meeting new relatives, but it's okay. It's okay to try to beat them. And flying into Tokyo, I look out the window. I saw Mount Fuji. He said for me to take the sacredness of the Black Hills, the heart of everything that is, and look and ask my new relatives, what is the heart of everything that is to them? I see Mount Fuji. It was so sacred, so majestic. That has to be the heart of everything that is to the Japanese. And in the village, there is material for us to read. The first article I picked up said the leaders during World War II, the leaders of Japan, when the first atomic bomb was dropped, and the leaders of the Olympic Games in 1964. They wanted the youth born and survived the blast the day the first atomic bomb was dropped, and the youth born the day of the opening ceremonies in Tokyo. They wanted them to see the world as one. So I took We Are All Related. And my wife and I made a lifetime commitment to promote global unity, national, local unity, through the dignity, character, beauty of national, or global, and local diversity. And I came back from the games and was told by many, many tribal leaders from different tribes in America, you have to have your giveaway. Don't forget to have your giveaway. So my giveaway became Running Strong for American Indian youth. And it's probably one of the most important things I've done in my life. And looking back, all of the major decisions I made in my life centered around the virtues and the values of the Indigenous people. And that became the core of my Olympic training. So with that said, once I won the gold, I owed it to Lakota virtues and values. I owed it to Indigenous virtues and values. And I owed it to my dad, simply saying, you have a broken soul, son, and it takes a dream to heal the broken soul. And that led me to people like you who, your work is sacred. You point out generational trauma. You make people realize privilege and how both have to heal. And Pat and I just made a lifetime commitment to. Pat and I made a lifetime commitment to continue to give, and it's just made both of us better people.
Yeah, and you spoke about Pat, your wife, beautiful wife. How many years have you been married now?
January will be 64 years. January 27th, 64 years of marriage. And I remember Pat making the commitment to help me heal a broken soul. And she knew I was going to try to win a gold medal, not to become a gold medalist, but the journey, the commitment that I made would make me heal a broken soul. And I was going to quit 6 months before the Olympics because I have hypoglycemia, basically insulinoma, which they found out later. But since high school, the symptoms on my pancreas, I have a tumor that spews extra insulin, taking me high and low. And I blocked out in a workout and felt like I could have killed myself. So I was going to quit, but I didn't exactly know how to quit. So I was going to try to put it on Pat. I was going to tell her, we can't afford for you to go to the Olympic Games. And then maybe a week later, I'll say, well, since you can't go, I'm going to quit training. And I told her she couldn't go. We couldn't afford it. Found out she'd cried all day. And the neighbors said she was broken. So I apologized. I said, I didn't realize going to the Olympic Games was so important to you. And she said, Billy, it's not. It's important to me that you heal. And we're a team. The journey to the games was your way of healing a broken soul. The games are not important. I just know, Billy, the reason I was crying, if I don't go to the Olympic Games with you, you can't win. And I go on a 25-mile run. Do I need her there to win? Do I need her there to win? And there's no way I'm going to win if she's not there. So I'll close that little story with 80 meters to go. It was so powerful. I'm going to win, but I may not get to the finish line first. But I'm going to win. But I'm going to still try to get there first. And the tape breaks across my chest, and they tell me, number one, new Olympic champion. Is there anything we can do for you? And I said, I want my wife. 80,000 people in the stadium. Within moments, they're tapping her on the shoulder. Mrs. Mills, the new Olympic champion, requests his wife. they brought her to me, and I started crying. I know what it meant. Pat, I healed a broken soul. And in the process, I'm an Olympic champion. So the gold medal and the healing was the journey.
You know, Billy, that is just a remarkable story. And I had the privilege of spending some time with you and Pat when you came to Michigan, maybe 3 years ago, whatever it was. And I just thoroughly enjoyed your visit. So we have to figure out how to get you back here, get some university to get you on stage again and get you and Pat to Michigan, because that was fun. I enjoyed it. And I'll just say this. I just really enjoyed watching you two interact with each other. Your relationship is just beautiful after all these years. And, you know, you guys are good for each other. The Creator knew how to put you two together. That's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. So, hey, one of your heroes is Jim Thorpe. Can you talk about why you think Jim Thorpe is one of the greatest Olympians of all time?
Jim Thorpe, the high school in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, the Oglala Reservation, they're the Thorpes. So you go into the high school or you go into the auditorium, and there was a plaque about Jim Thorpe. So Jim Thorpe was never a hero of mine. He was, though, my first Olympic god. So Jim Thorpe was an Olympic god to me. And I knew I could never be a Jim Thorpe. But my dad told me about Buster Charles, Oneida Indian, and how he was fourth at the Olympic Games in the decathlon. Was setting the world record in the decathlon and injured his back in 1929. They referred to it like a broken back. I don't know what the injury exactly was. He won the Olympic trials in 1932, re-injured himself in 32 at the Olympic Games, finished fourth. So Buster Charles was my hero. Jim Thorpe was my Olympic god. And by me winning a gold medal, I like to say, Zeus, I believe, is the Olympic god, and he dwells at Mount Olympus. Jim Thorpe is an Olympic god. Jim Thorpe dwells on Mount Olympus. So my gold medal, my world record, and #1 ranking in the world, 1964, earned me the right to hike up Mount Olympus, spend a day up there with the spirits of the Olympic gods, but I have to hike back down before sunset. So Jim Thorpe, to me, is the greatest.
Well, thank you for that. I know that you admire him, and when his medals were restored, you and I talked, and we had a chance to talk. We have a Chance Rush.
Hey,
Chance is becoming a co-host with me at Native Bidaské.
Oh, what a surprise!
But he is a very, very busy man. He was emceeing today. And Chance, where are you right now?
man, believe it or not, I am actually here at the Native American National Native American Hall of Fame, and right behind me, we have Billy Mills's his picture, his plaque up. I have the privilege of serving as the ambassador here for the National Native American Hall of Fame, and it was my privilege, Levi. I actually had the opportunity to go to the home of the Mills family. And of all people, guess who invited me to their home? It was Patricia. No, I'm just joking with you, brother. But I had the privilege to come and present him with a book, the new book that we have out. And to all of our listeners out there, I want you guys to be aware of November the 1st, right here in Oklahoma City at the National Native American Hall of Fame. We're having another induction. I know we have a great lineup for that. But Billy has been inducted in his new book. I think he's on page 89, something like that. But I'm coming to you live from Oklahoma City and at the National Native American Hall of Fame. Man, Billy, it's such an honor to see you. Thank you, Levi, for allowing Native News Online to utilize this platform. I'm very proud of both of you and all the hard work that you do. And it was only fitting, Levi, to talk a little bit about people admiring other people. Billy Mills came to my reservation when I was a little boy. He also came to my school when I was an alternative kid, and he sent me back to class, wanting to learn how to read, wanting to learn how to write. I got myself out of alternative school. I put myself in junior high and high school. I won myself a state championship. I won myself a national championship. And through it all, it's always been about how inspirational Billy has been in my life. I utilized running for personal growth, like the Donnie Belcourts, like the Philip Castillos, like the Brandon Leslies. So just to kind of be in an environment of knowing who, and the Mo Smiths, and to know who Billy is, certainly is a blessing. So thank you for letting me chime in. Believe it or not, Billy, this was supposed to be a meeting between you two, but I had to find my way to get up in here. So
You're always welcome, Chance.
I was so afraid Chance was going to tell the audience that our record racing, Chance, 1 victory, Billy, 1 loss.
Hey,
He was 7 years old when he beat me in a 10K.
Man, I'll take it. Hey, but you know what, Levi? What I can say is that I beat Billy Mills, Olympic gold medalist. I beat Mo Smith, #1 in the world in the men's 1500, and I beat Philip Castillo because he didn't go to sleep for 36 hours. NCAA champ. So I got that record.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey, Chance, you're talking about Billy sent you back to class, wanting to learn. He inspired you. I just across in my journeys across the United States, I have more and more people tell me what an influence Billy Mills was on their life, and that's why I call him one of our treasures. I really truly believe Billy is one of our treasures in Indian country, and
Right.
I love talking to the man. Good thing is we're all among friends here. Hey, Billy, talk to us about so much of your work has been about unity. And I know when you came to the universities here in Michigan, West Michigan, you were talking about unity and how important it is. What would you say to the Native people of America today, Native Americans, who just, there's such a pushback against the DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion by certain people? How can we stay strong and keep defending who we are as Native people? What would you say to them?
Well, I would maybe just tell a series of stories. For example, I'm not a combat veteran, but the first thing I learned, no one teaching me, just but by feel and by emotion, was I was a much better officer in the Marine Corps by knowing about the men I was in command of, knowing their culture, their traditions, their spirituality, knowing their experiences in life made me a better officer. And I could take that throughout life. The footprints, I would say also to our young people, the footprints of our ancestors cannot be erased. We will not allow them to be erased. When Sitting Bull said, let's take the best of both worlds and build a new world for our children. When I had read that, I took it to heart. When Crazy Horse brought his band in and told the military, U.S. military, when I look into your eyes, I see your universe. When you are at the center of your universe, I'm at the center of my universe. We can be one. We can live in peace. That's unity through diversity. That's building one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'll wind up, I'd also stress to the young people, many of them are the seventh generation. My grandchildren are the seventh generation. They need to know the footprints. They need to know the pain. They need to know the generational trauma that was created. And they need to know privilege that is being taken as a right, God-given right. And they need to know how they both have to heal. And from that healing comes unity through diversity. So when our government wants to eliminate diversity, equity, inclusion, they're basically stripping this democratic experiment of its strength. And what would be left would be an autocracy. So it's vital that our young people know the footprints. I'll finish this by saying countries we've traveled to, I'll share with them. They're looking toward Indigenous women, the young girls in America, for hope, for direction, for a clarity of mind, to make positive decisions and stay the course. They've told us in 12 countries, 8 of them for sure, where I understood it very clearly, that what tribal governments, state governments, and the federal government and the marketplace do to empower the women, starting with Indigenous women, is either the young girls in these other countries, it's either their celebration or their demise. So our voice needs to be heard. Our voice needs to play a major role in saving this democratic experiment. It's an experiment, and experiments can be flawed. So you correct that the flaw of that experiment, and ultimately you get it right, and you cure cancer. In this case, you save and strengthen this incredible democratic experiment. Final comment to all Indigenous people. We need to know, we need to understand the American democracy, our Constitution, because to save it, it's going to be the voices of diversity.
Well,
Very good.
Chance, once you respond to that, brother, those are some powerful words coming from Billy Mills, the great Billy Mills.
Man, what that does for me, Levi, spending my whole life in the outreach work that I do, Billy knows this, that I turn to him for a lot of advice and a lot of mentorship. And when I hear these stories, it just reminds me of what we need to do, the activism and the mentoring that's been passed from Billy Mills and Howard Rayner and Judge Lujan and a lot of these people that have taught us and passed on to us. It makes me feel good to know that Billy is still making appearances and showing up and still spreading great messages. So Billy, I got a question for you. Like, what keeps you driving, and why is it important for you to still stay active in tribal communities, organizations all across the United States, internationally, native, non-native? You're still going at it. I'm talking like a hip replacement. I'm talking just the wear and tear on your body from traveling all the time, maybe old running injuries. What keeps you driven? And why is it important for you to continue to put your message out there?
That's such a powerful question, and that there are many things that happen almost on a weekly basis. I may get a letter from one of our young people who's attempted suicide, and they need someone to hear them out. They need somebody to listen. I've gotten letters from women of Islamic faith saying, "Do you really think my dream can come true?" Letters from young children in Africa. I've got a dear friend in the Maldives who's visited. Went and spoke to his people in his country and had a young girl from the Maldives ask if I thought her dream could come true. And her eyes were just sparkling. And I said, if your dream is locked up in your eyes, it's powerful. It's a powerful dream. Your dream can come true. 6 months later, we're at the 2012 Olympic Games in London, and I'm invited to the Maldives Olympic headquarters. And I walk in, a lady and a young man in their 40s came in and said, "Which one of you is Billy Mills?" I said, "I'm Billy." And the lady said, "I just want you to know, I've been volunteering for a number of years for the games in London. I was given several free passes to track and field. Today is one of my free days, but I'm here to hear what you say to the Maldive Olympians, wanting to make sure I wouldn't say anything, whatever was wrong to her or maybe to the Olympic organizers. And I just want you to know that." She was a little upset. And then this little girl walks up, says, "Billy, remember me?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, you are the girl with the power of a dream in your eyes." And she said, "Yes, Billy." And it came true. And then Dr. Hussein Ali, when I spoke of unity through diversity, so the lady's phone rang, and she goes, "Oh my God, thank you, thank you." And she said, "Billy, they gave me another day to track and field, but I want you to know, me being here, listening to this young lady, listening to you and Dr. Hussein, the Dr. Halim. Um, I don't care if I go to any track and field event. If this is what the Olympics are about, unity through diversity, I'm in. And it just goes from place to place. And a lot of it is seeing the dreams in our young people who are too shy, or maybe not quite confident to express them. And then I look in their eyes and I see that dream. And I want to be part of helping them deliver that dream. Uh, we have such incredible, talented young people. The book we wrote, Wings of an Eagle, is simply designed to try to get people to know that they can have a dream and it can be supported, and to know the diversity of the student in the chair next to them makes everybody in the classroom much more powerful. So just that thought of, I believe in this democratic experiment, and I believe in our children, and I believe in every Indigenous youngster I've met. And some have been broken many times over by generational trauma, but I believe in them.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Good stuff. Man, powerful stuff. I want, Levi, I'm gonna turn this back over to you, but I just want to, I'm gonna ask Levi something in front of Billy. Obviously, you're the one that shocked the world in 1964. Levi, we were talking last week, and Billy, one of the reasons why we had to get you on was because we were just sitting there like, man, did you know 61 years ago on this very day is when Indian country made its presence again in the Olympics, with Luis Tawanamani as well as Jim Thorpe. Now we got Billy Mills. Levi, what is something that has inspired you in your life, with if I'm saying his name right, Luis Tawanamani and Jim Thorpe and Billy Mills? How has that inspired you on a business sense?
Well, I think that's a great question. I think one of the things that I know, I've never met the other two gentlemen. Obviously, Jim Thorpe was gone long before I came on the scene, and Billy and I spent time together. And I will tell you, he's just, every time I'm with him, he's just so inspiring. I've written down more notes than I usually do during these Native Bidaské today. Just today, Chance, I was in a college campus here in Grand Rapids, Aquinas College, and I'm going back tomorrow. And we talked about the DEI thing. And so, Billy, if you don't mind, I'll borrow some of the things you said, sir. And I love, we cannot erase the footprints of our ancestors. That could be a chapter of a book. Those are such powerful words. And Chance, to your question, I think that being around Billy, and I know I've been inspired by like the likes of Oren Lyons, where he's come to Grand Rapids and I've spent days with him, and just being around somebody a generation. And Oren told me something that I will always remember. I was ready to take him to the airport, right? And so we were in the car together, just Oren and myself, and somehow, I don't know how I got going. And he said, just how we do it among natives is 80-year-olds take care of 60-year-olds. 60-year-olds take care of 40-year-olds. 40-year-olds are guiding those 20-year-olds because they're raising our children.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the cyclical nature of generation after generation. And we speak in terms of 7 generations, but since Billy's older than I am, anytime I'm around him, I'm just taking notes or writing things down, and he just inspires me. And I do that weekly column, right? Native News Online weekly column, and I get asked sometimes, what inspires you to write those columns? Well, some of them are so blatant, they have to be written about, but just reflection on some of the things Billy's told me in the past. And I have a new book coming out this fall, and in late fall before the end of the year. And there's actually a whole column about Billy Mills that I edited last night, re-edited again, because when it gets to the book, you want to be perfect. But and I think that's one of the things is, as a reporter, as editor, I need inspiration too. And Billy certainly has been one of the inspirations in my life.
Right. Hey man, I'd say this right now. I remember one time I was with Billy up at rap in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at NIEA. And I remember one time I was just watching Billy get just bombarded with, we want a picture, we want an autograph. And one thing Billy said to me, he said, you know what? He said, you guys get this guy's autograph because he's going to do a lot of things in Indian country. And sure enough, that day, Debbie Parker, Tricia Sheldon, Teresa Dorset, different people started getting my address. I mean, my autograph. And next thing you know, I'm doing a lot of work for him. One thing I really like about Billy, Billy, I appreciate you just being a grounded person, and you really are a relative. And a lot of people can walk around here and be famous and be well known and all that, but you get. I mean, yes, you broke the world record. Yes, you won a gold medal. Yes, you shocked the world, but you get all your fame by just being a good, nice, wonderful, grounded person. So we really do appreciate that. Hey, before I let y'all go, Levi, here. Talk about a bucket list. So about a couple months ago, I went over to this real famous artist's house. Billy's got one of her paintings there in the back. And I'm telling you, I went over there to Billy's house to see gold medals and to see, just the history of Billy Mills. I went in that house and that thing is immaculate with just beautiful paintings and artwork by his wife. You ever get a shot to go over, and meet Pat? It's amazing just to see what they have in their house. But here's my bucket list. I didn't know this was even part of my bucket list. My bucket list was I got to go over to a big old huge house, a gated, first time, Levi, I was ever in a gated community. I got to go into a gated community. I got to go into this big, beautiful home. And the cool part about it, that wasn't even the cool part. The cool part was Billy and Pat let us go, took us out to eat, and I got to drive his car. Who would have ever thunk that I would get to drive a gold medalist's car to his restaurant? And when we got to the restaurant, we didn't have reservations, but the ladies knew who the Mills family was. And they were like, hey, look, this place is packed. They got people waiting, but we know Billy, we know Pat. Come back here. We got you. I got to go in there. The highlight for me, Levi, was breaking out my credit card and taking care of our meal. That is something that I've always wanted to do, is when I have the opportunity to give back to somebody that inspired you. It happened to be at the right time where life is great, life is growing. And to be able to go back and return something to somebody that gave you something and an opportunity whenever you were young, coming up, trying to make an impact, trying to make a difference. In closing, at the national championships in Missoula, Montana, Billy Mills comes out and he watches all of these high school runners running this race. The top 13 runners, eight of them, finished in the top 15, in the top 13. And we were all fighting, Billy. Brandon Leslie, John Sebetsay, the Martin twins, Chance Rush. We were all arguing and fighting about who Billy Mills came to watch run. The cool thing about it is Billy took all of us high school kids to go out and eat after the race. And even Joe Hill even joined us, one of the greatest distance runners, distant running coaches of all time. So to everybody listening out there, like, when you find a mentor, go tell them that you're a mentor, because that gives them a responsibility to help grow you. And that's something that Billy certainly did for me over the years. I let Billy Mills know, hey man, I look up to you. You're my mentor. You inspired me to read. And because of that, man, I'm good friends with him today.
Something, Chance and I were, Billy, at Ernie Stevens' funeral recently. And one thing that his son Brandon said to me, he said, Levi, I have never in my life heard as many grown men tell me they love me as I did at his dad's funeral. There's Brandon speaking. And so I guess, we Native men, we need each other. And I want to tell you, Billy, I love you, man.
Yeah,
And,
man, I love
Chance,
you, Billy.
I don't think we do that enough, Chance. I really don't. I don't think we tell each other that.
Yeah,
like we should.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong is no taken away from who we are as a man or our masculinity, anything like that. But you know what? To be able to just look you in the eye and say, I love you. And I love you, Billy, for everything you've done and who you are as a person. So, and I love you too, Chance.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
To both of you, from Pat and I, it's a big ditto.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you jumping on the show with us, Billy. It really means a lot to us, and to all of our listeners out there, continue to listen to our podcast. Man, we're growing. We're going to get stronger. We're going to get bigger. Don't forget, before I turn it back over to you all, November 1st, right here in Oklahoma City, our National Native American Hall of Fame induction gala. You got to come. You got to be a part of it. Check out our website. And I'm right here in the museum right now here in Oklahoma City. Came by, stopped here, and I'm gonna go check out Billy's plaque. It's just right around this wall here. So you guys all have a blessed day. Levi, I'll let you close us out. Billy, it's good to see you, boss man, and thank you all for listening today. Go ahead, Lee.
No, question I have is the Hall of Fame in the First Americans Museum?
Yes, it's in the very front. Yes, we got our own property coming. Special announcement in a little while.
All right. I may try to get out there in
November 1. Come on out.
Billy, you have one last final word for us?
No, I just think our young people's, their voices have to be heard. And the mentors, you're both mentors. Your book, Boarding School, that should be in every school of the 12 states that teach Indian education. We need to educate. We need to heal privilege, as well as we need to heal trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that by people's voices being heard.
Thank you very much. And to our viewers, Chi Miigwech for tuning into another Native Bidaské. We'll be back next week with another special edition. So in the meantime, as I like to tell the elders, take care of those young ones, give them hugs, and young ones, you have to take care of our elders. We're all in this together. We're all related. Chi Miigwech.
Hey, Native Pride still here.
Thank you for joining us. If you value our warrior journalism for Indian country, please consider supporting our work by scanning the QR code or visiting the link below. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and sign up for our free daily newsletter. Chi Miigwech.